In this vlog, the board game I'd like to show is Calico. Calico is a spatial puzzle strategy board game centered around patchwork and cats, featuring core mechanics of tile placement, pattern construction, and combination collection. My first experience with this game was rather chaotic. When I first started placing the fabric pieces, I overlooked several scoring opportunities, so the initial pieces were not placed in the most optimal positions. By the time I realized the scoring mechanics and tried to rethink my layout, it was too late to make adjustments. I felt quite regretful about that. It was precisely through this process that I came to understand the importance of planning ahead in this game. By the mid to late stage of the game, I had largely mastered the rules, yet my mood remained far from relaxed. On the contrary, each tile placement became increasingly hesitant. As the board filled up, I had to simultaneously weigh the scoring potential of the current turn against its impact on future layouts. This constant balancing act kept me intensely focused throughout the game, gradually revealing that its core essence lay not in hastily completing the puzzle, but in repeated deliberation and trade-offs within constrained conditions. Throughout the gameplay, my emotions oscillated between tension and excitement. On the one hand, the pressure of making choices keeps me highly focused. On the other hand, when certain goals are successfully achieved, a distinct sense of excitement and satisfaction will arise. This experience of coexistence of tension and a sense of achievement constitutes the most direct emotional feedback during the game process. In the context of multiplayer play, the interaction among players is also very interesting. In the early stage of the game, everyone was more focused on their own layout and had almost no direct communication. As we became more familiar with the rules, we began to pay attention to other scoring targets and indirectly prevent them from scoring by choosing specific pieces of cloth. Observation, comparison, and implicit computation have gradually become part of the gaming experience. As I played the game many times, my gaming experience gradually changed. At first, I focused on whether a single placement was correct, but in subsequent games, I began to think more about the overall layout and long-term planning. Repeated play did not diminish the novelty of the game. Instead, it strengthened my understanding of the rules and made my strategic choices more purposeful. At the same time, I think the most intense experience of this game comes from the irreversibility of choices. Once the fabric pieces are placed, they cannot be withdrawn. This setting makes every decision seem more serious. Compared with the jigsaw puzzle game that can be modified at any time, this irreversible mechanism makes me more cautious and also teaches me to keep moving forward in an imperfect situation. The game doesn't offer me a chance to start over. Instead, it requires me to accept the established outcome and seek whole possibilities on that basis. As the game processed, my understanding of it also changed. At first, I regarded it as a simple jigsaw puzzle game, but during the continuous adjustment process, I gradually realized that it was more like an exercise about making choices and planning. The game doesn't emphasize speed or luck. Instead, it makes me confront the consequences of my decisions through continuous pressure of choice. This shift in understanding has enabled me to start facing each game with a calmer and more holistic perspective. Looking back on the entire gameplay, I realized that the joy of Calico does not come from quickly achieving goals, but from constantly making trade-offs and adjustments under constraints. The game makes planning, hesitation, and acceptance of imperfections the core of the experience through simple and clear rules.